Hey guys, it's Corey from Her True North Wellness. I am so excited to kick off this wellness series with all of you. Today we're talking about something everyone thinks they need more of, motivation. But here's the truth, you guys. Motivation isn't magic. Motivation is a feeling. It's not something that just appears or that you wake up with or that you automatically have more of. Motivation, that grit and grind, that's something that you create once you start taking action. So if you've ever felt like you've lost your motivation or you can't seem to find it again, this one's going to be for you. Okay? So let's dive in. Discipline and alignment with your goals, your habits, your routine are always going to outweigh motivation. Every time your discipline, your habits, and your alignment are going to be what move the needle forward. Because let's be honest, we might be motivated to do something initially, but after the newness wears off, we kind of find ourselves in kind of the mundane, the middle, the everyday grind, and then we kind of feel lost. And if we don't see progress right away or we haven't achieved the goal, God forbid it take us longer than a week to achieve a goal, then we kind of get in this space where we start questioning ourselves, we doubt ourselves, we maybe start to get a little laxed on our habits and our routine because we're not seeing that needle move forward fast enough. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that too. But I want you to really anchor in this idea that motivation is a feeling. It is an energy that we create when we get aligned and disciplined in the choices that we're making for our life. And I'm going to create some clarity around that, okay? Because that sounds like, oh God, I don't know how am I going to do that. I want you to think about a goal that you've had for yourself that you were kind of leaning on motivation or you were hoping for motivation to achieve blank, whatever that goal was. I'm going to use a wellness goal for today's purposes because that is the space that I coach in. And I think that a lot of us kind of struggle in that space of being motivated to work towards our wellness goals, whether it's weight loss, maybe getting on a healthier path because we're not going down a very healthy path to begin with. But for today's purposes, we're going to use weight loss. Okay. We're going to use this. I need the motivation, or I wish I had the motivation to work towards losing 30 pounds. Okay. I want you to think about because 30 pounds is a considerable amount of weight, right? That's going to take months to achieve when we work through that and towards that in a healthy manner. That is not something that happens in a week or a month or even 2 months. Typically, to lose 30 pounds, it's going to take us several weeks, right? It's going to take us maybe 15 weeks because 1 to 2 pounds of weight loss is healthy for an average person to lose each week. Okay. So if we think about that, that's going to take us 15 weeks. How many of us are really patient enough to be consistent in our routine at the beginning when we think it's going to take 15 weeks? Not very many of us, right? Not in the society that we live in these days. So instead of being connected to the goal, which I love goals, I think that goals are great, but instead of being connected to losing 30 pounds, I want you to get aligned in what is that 30-pound weight loss going to do for you? How is it going to make you feel? What are you going to be able to do when you lose that 30 pounds? Is it going to help you feel more confident when you get dressed? Are you going to feel more confident to go on a date with your husband or your wife? Are you going to be able to have more energy and to climb the stairs and do all of the things in life that you want to do to be able to go out in the yard and play with your children? To get up out of bed each morning without pain and kind of dreading the day? Would losing 30 pounds give you a better quality of life? If the answer is yes, can you see how getting connected to a better quality of life, a higher quality of life for yourself and your family, for you to be present and to be active and to live your life is so much more deeply rooted in you than the idea of losing 30 pounds. So let's get connected to that. Let's get aligned in how do we start becoming that person who is living that life, who wakes up with energy, who sleeps great, who is making choices that align with health and wellness, that's able to go out and play with her children and feel amazing in her skin when she goes on a date with her husband. That is what we want to get connected to. Because when we get connected to that, we start to align our actions in who we are becoming versus checking a box and just what we're doing. Okay. When we're going for a 30-pound weight loss goal and we're just focused on the weight loss, we tend to just check a box. Okay, I did my nutrition. Okay, I did my workout. Okay, I got up and did my workout in the morning. We're just checking a box, right? But when we can get aligned and rooted in who we are becoming, the woman who's going to experience a higher quality of life, we start to think more about the actions that we're doing every single day. And instead of just checking a box on a workout or just checking a box that we followed our nutrition plan, we start to make that a part of who we are. We start to be more aligned with the actions that we're taking each day. When your habits match your goals, you don't have to chase motivation. You just follow through because it's a part of who you are, right? We don't need to be perfect and to check all the boxes perfectly every single day to progress forward. But we do have to create consistency in positive choices and positive steps forward to move towards our goal, right? Because if you're here and your goal is here, we have to bridge that gap. And it's going to take time, yes, but we can create consistent steps forward that will compound over time to get us to the goal. Okay. I want you to think about because I already know some of you are going, well, I just really struggle with being consistent. I can't, I do really good for a little bit and then I get off track and I just can't be consistent. Every single one of us is consistent every single day. That might be a really hard truth, but the truth is we are all very consistent in what we do every day. I want you to think about this. When your alarm goes off, what do you do? And you probably do it every single time your alarm goes off, right? You consistently either get up with your alarm or you hit snooze or you hit snooze again. When you get up out of bed, what do? You have a ritual, a routine that you do consistently day after day. The way that you shower and you bathe is consistent. The way that you clean your home is consistent. You have consistency within your life. We just have gotten into a pattern and a rhythm of going through the motions. So the moment that we can be connected to who we are becoming, the person we want to grow into, we can start to think and be more aware of those consistent actions. And do we need to tweak them? Now, I'm not saying you have to totally revamp your whole life. It can be very overwhelming to change a lot of patterns, right? But if we focus down and dial in on one specific area, we are going to be able to start making some tweaks that are going to allow us to build better consistency in better habits that are better aligned with where we want to go. Okay. So you can't use the excuse that we don't have consistency because we all do things very consistently every day. It's when we break that consistency and we start to create new patterns that we feel uncomfortable. But that discomfort is growth. So I also want to touch on when you lose motivation, it's because you stopped seeing progress, right? We tend to want, like I said in the beginning, we tend to want to go from here to here in a week, sometimes less, right? But all change and growth takes time. So we need to look at those small shifts that we're making throughout the day. We need to look at, how did I show up for myself? Start looking for those small wins. What went well? Is there room for improvement in the day? Sure, probably. I still have days there's a lot of room for improvement. But did I show up for myself for the most part and work through most of the habits that are going to move me towards my goal? We need to learn to celebrate those because your goals are going to take time. But the more that you show up for yourself and you choose the habits and the choices that are moving you towards your goal and towards the future version of yourself, the more you build self-efficacy. The more you build self-efficacy, the more confidence you have and the more empowered you feel because you're keeping your promise to yourself, because you keep showing up. When it's not convenient, when you don't have that feeling of motivation, when snuggling in bed with the dogs sounds a lot better than getting up at 4:50 in the morning, you create discipline. You create discipline for that goal that is aligning with where you want to go. So the next time you catch yourself saying, I just need motivated, I need more motivation, remember this: motivation doesn't start the fire. You do, my friends. You get the choice to show up and take one small single step forward for yourself and for the future version of you right now. It doesn't have to be Monday. You can do it right now. If this hit home for you today, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button, share with your friends. Make sure you're following me over on Instagram for more real talk when it comes to wellness tips and mindset shifts and to help you align, rise, and thrive in your life. We'll talk to you again soon.